everybody, thank you for joining today. I'm Nate with Dyed for Life, and we're going to go over tie-dye in a classic spiral. First, what we're going to do is go over what you need to do to prep the shirt first, and then we're going to tie it, and then we're going to dye it, wash it, and then we'll reveal what we've done at the end of the video. So first thing first, what you need to do, we're going to start with a white cotton t-shirt. 100% cotton works best. You can use rayon, viscose, hemp. There's a few other cellulose fibers that you can use, but cotton is the main material that we use. Just no polyester. Polyester will not dye. It doesn't hold it at all. So don't even try with polyester. Make sure that you've got a cotton shirt, just like this one right here. What we're going to do first is, so I've already done this, but the shirt needs to be soaked in soda ash. So you can pick up soda ash at most stores. I just pick it up at the local grocery store. So you need to use 1 cup of this per 1 gallon of water, and then let the shirt sit in it for at least 15 minutes. And then you need to wring out the excess water. So what I like to do is take the shirt, put it in the washing machine, and spin out the excess water. Make sure that you do not run the rinse cycle. If you do run the rinse cycle, you'll have to soak it in soda ash again. The soda ash is what causes the dye to bond to the shirt. So without the soda ash, you're not going to have a reaction, and all your dye is going to wash out. So that soda ash soak is probably one of the most important things that need to be done to make sure that your tie-dye actually looks vibrant and with the colors that you intend, and it doesn't wash out. All right, so after soaking your shirt in the soda ash, now we're going to take the shirt, turn it inside out, and then lay it face down on the table. So by putting the front down on the table, you end up getting a slightly better dye pattern on that side, because when we twist it up, the table is going to hold the shirt flat, and it's going to have just an overall better design than the back of the shirt. And I'll show you once we tie this one up. So after you lay it down, you need to lay it as flat as possible. Take out all of the wrinkles everywhere, in your sleeves, in your corners. Just make sure that the whole shirt just lays down flat. Okay. Now the tool that I'm using right here, these are forceps that I have ground off the teeth, so that when I put my my mark, or when I grab the shirt with these, when I take it off, it doesn't tear the shirt. So if you do not grind the teeth off of this, you could end up putting a hole. But if you don't have these, you don't have to have them to make a spiral. What you can do is you can use your fingers and just make a twist like this and spiral it up. Okay, but what we're going to do is I'm going to go over with this, and so I'm going to flatten this back out. We're going to make our pinch right here, just like we did before. So this you want right in the center where you're going to grab, and then I like to go about 1 inch or 2 below the armpit line, so that it goes right into the center. If you do the center of the shirt, you're going to have a spiral kind of down here in your belly, and it kind of looks all right, but I like to bring it up about mid-chest. I think it looks better up here. It's a personal preference. You can actually make your center point anywhere on the shirt, and it'll still make a spiral. It doesn't really matter, but this is the most popular spot right here. So we've got our spot, our pinch right here. We'll take the forceps lock, just like this, and then we're going to twist it up. As it starts twisting, you see these the folds that it's making. So we want those to stand out, but we don't want them to get too big. So as it starts to spin, we're going to make sure all of our folds are about the same height. You don't want too many. I kind of like to keep my hand here to keep them from building too tall. But you see right here where it's building up. So what we need to do is make a fold next to it, so that it takes away some of this height. Same with over here on this side. This typically happens on the sleeves, and then right here up at the neck collar line. Since it's a little bit thicker from the sews, it doesn't naturally fold as well, so you just need to kind of go along and help it a little bit. So then we're going to keep on twisting it, and it gets to a point where it stops spiraling like this and the whole shirt spins. So you're going to just stop it. You take your hand, and we're going to tuck the rest of the shirt. So I've got this still. I've made this first tuck, and I'm holding this, and I'm going to hold it tight right here. So I want this to be as tight as possible. And what we're going to do is we're going to fold the rest of the shirt in just like this. And every time that we change, we're going to find a spot right here to hold the tension so that the shirt does not pop back out. We want this spiral to stay pretty much as tight as possible. So once we get the whole thing just like this, you can give it a good squeeze, hold it for a second so that those folds end up holding just like this. All right, so if you wait too long, it'll start to open up a little bit, so you don't have to be too quick, but don't be too slow. All it's going to take is 4 rubber bands. Put 2 fingers in just like this, and you're going to drag the bottom across the table, and it should just slide under the shirt. It may grab the shirt a little bit, and you can use your fingers to try to hold it still, but your main goal is to try not to let the shirt move. If these unfold, it's not going to tie right, so you want this shirt to stay tight just like this. All right, so after the first one's on, turn it 90 degrees, make sure it's still tight just like that. Take the next rubber band, stick it under, so you can use your thumbs like this to hold it still if you need. I'm going to set it right there. So that's going to hold the shirt still for the most part. We're going to put 2 more on still, but before we do that, we're going to take this off. So you unhook it, you pull it a little bit so that it gives it a little room down here at the bottom to come off. You stick your fingers here and just wiggle it out a little bit. You don't want to pull the center out. If the center pulls out, you're going to mess up the whole shirt, and you're going to have to untie it, spread it back out, retie it back up. So you don't want to do that. Just try to keep this as still as possible. So now that we got it off, putting 2 more on. Put one right here. I'm going to pull this out so it's not in the way. That won't absorb dye at all, so if it's covering anything under it won't get dyed. So you want this to kind of be out of the way so that it doesn't block the way of any of the dye, so that your dye will look proper when you're done. I'm going to turn it. I'll put this last one on just like that. Alright, so you can see the spiral here. This is the back side. You see how some of the levels are, it's not completely level, but the side that was against the table, that's your perfect spiral. That's going to end up being the front of the shirt right here. So what you want to do, kind of want to make sure all these little flaps are tucked in. They don't have to all necessarily be in, but you don't want too many loose spots. And then if you line it up just right to where all your rubber bands come to the center right here, when we go to dye it, each one of these will be a different color. So it makes it a little bit easier to know where you're going to add dye. So now we're going to take this over to the dye table and dye it. Alright, so what we're going to do right here with this spiral, we're going to do a 2-tone spiral. So we're going to split it in half so that one half of the spiral is one color and the other half of the spiral is another color. The first thing you're going to do with that, you take some black dye and you're going to go right down the middle. It's going to split your 2 colors. You want to make sure to get plenty towards the outside. This will keep the 2 colors from bleeding into each other, and you'll have nice, deep, dark, bold, vibrant detail by doing this. So you don't want to put too much towards the middle, but make sure you got enough. And then quite a bit here. So right here where it's like thick, you want to make sure to put plenty of black. So that way it goes all the way through. Well, you're not going to quite go all the way through, you're going to go most of the way through. So when we flip this over, we're going to dye the other side the same way. Alright, so there's that. Alright, so our colors that we're going to choose, let's see, what do we want to use? How about we use some purple and some turquoise. Those are always two colors that go good together. So I'm going to take our purple. This whole side over here is going to be purple. Move that out of the way. And you know what? I'm actually going to do something a little different. Instead of purple and turquoise, I'm going to use two colors that don't normally get put next to each other because there's a very high chance of creating brown when you do these. So what I'm going to do, orange, purple and orange. The bright orange, it's going to give a nice contrast. These two colors will go good together. They just don't go good right next to each other because then they will create lots of brown. But if you can create a nice little split between them, you can use contrasting colors on the opposite ends of the color wheel, and they end up looking really well together. Alright, so we're going to color this fully on this side. Make sure to get everything on the outside. And it's actually make a good Halloween shirt. Got Halloween coming up. It's not for a couple months, but about to start doing some Halloween dyes soon. So I'll probably have some pumpkins. I'll have some ghosts, some cats, maybe some witches. We'll see what I'm able to do. All right. So now that we flipped it over, I'm gonna get back to our black dye again. Put it right down there through the center. Make sure you get plenty on the outside. And I usually widen my line a little bit towards the outer edge. It goes natural with the spiral because the farther out that you go, the wider it gets. So this gives it a nice little look to it. We do plenty of dye right there. All right. And do some more of this purple over here on this side. Make sure you get plenty on the outside. And we go right up to the line. You get plenty right here. And we do this side right here. And go right up to the line. Alright, fully colored. Now you can either stop here or you can do what I do to all of my dyes, and we're going to add a little bit of black over it. But we're not going to go all the way. We're going to leave a little bit of edge right there. Both sides, just a little bit. What this is going to do is give our color some contrast. We're going to flip it over, and we're going to do the same thing on this side. Just a little bit here, and a little bit over here. That way we're going to have bright orange, dark orange, bright purple, dark purple, and some black. Okay, there we go. Dyed on both sides. Now we're going to let that sit and batch for 24 hours, and we will wash it tomorrow. So now that we've let our shirt batch for 24 hours, we're now ready to rinse. Before we rinse, need to make sure to get a bucket of hot water and soap. I use Blue Dawn dish soap. This is very important, the hot water soak. So make sure you got your bucket of hot soapy water ready to go. You can have more than one shirt in there. I have a couple shirts in there already. So we're going to start rinsing with this. We're going to rinse on cold water. We're going to rinse until we get most of this dye out. So you see how there's a lot of color coming out of here? So we're going to rinse until it's mostly clear. Maybe not mostly clear, it'll be kind of clear. The next rinse will be mostly clear once we open it out. So these purples take a little longer to rinse. We're going to flip it over, rinse this side. Make sure to get in there really good. Alright. I'm going to give this a little squeeze. See, there's a bunch of color still coming out. Now we're going to take off these rubber bands. And now open it up. There's our orange and purple spiral. We're going to continue rinsing this. Make sure to get every little spot. Open up every single fold. And don't leave any spot unrinsed. So rinse very well at this point. Yeah, any dye that is not rinsed out can potentially stain it while it's being washed in the washer. So you need to rinse out as much dye here as you can, especially around here in the collar. Collar holds a lot of dye. All the sew lines, the armpits and the sleeves. Get both sides. So we're going to give this a good squeeze. Get some of that dye out of there. And we're going to rinse it again with hot water. The hot water is going to release even more dye than the cold water. We're going to go over this whole thing with hot water. Give it a nice good rinse. Make sure to get everything. Move this over so you can see how much dye is coming out. You see how there's a little bit of color, especially the purple. Alright, see how it's getting lighter? Still getting little bits of dye. Okay. Give this a good squeeze again. And into our hot water, soapy hot water bath. Make sure you get it in there good. And we're going to let that sit for at least 20 minutes. And then we're going to rinse it again and then wash them out. Alright, so now that our shirts have soaked for over 20 minutes, we're going to dump this out. Give this a little rinse. We're going to rinse these out some. Get some of this extra soap out of here. Dishwashers don't really like dish soap very much. They can handle a little bit, but the amount that I put in these to soak, the laundry or the washing machine doesn't seem to be able to pump it out very well. So I've started rinsing them again after the soak, and it helps out the wash like tremendously. So wash these out. Don't put a lot of soap into your washing machine. It does not like it. It's not meant for it. Although it does work really well at getting this dye out of these shirts. It does need to be rinsed again to get some of that out before putting it into your machine. So we got this. We're going to give this one a good rinse. You don't want to rinse all of the soap out. The soap is going to help continuously let some of the dye out as it washes. Most of the dye is out at this point. So we're just going to rinse, just a little light rinse, get most of these suds out. Go. I'm going to wring it out. Put it back into the bucket. And this last one right here. Alright, so now that we got our shirts in the bucket, we're going to go put these in the wash. Okay, so we're going to put our shirts in the washing machine. Just toss them in there. Throw in an old towel. That old towel is going to help catch any of the last of the unbonded dye. And put it in. Put your soap in, just like normal. And we're going to do a regular wash with an extra rinse. Okay, so now we're all washed and dried and ready for the reveal. So here's our two-tone orange and purple spiral. Got front pattern, front design, front of the shirt, and back of the shirt. Got the same pattern, front and back side. So thank you for watching. Please be sure to like and click subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos. Thank you for watching.